Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so picture this. A quiet, kind of unassuming farm on Prince Edward Island. You know the type. A place that feels almost stuck in time. It's run by the sensible woman Marilla and her very shy brother Matthew. And they decide, quite practically, they need some help. So they plan to adopt an orphan boy. Sounds pretty straightforward, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. Seems simple enough.
But, well, as we're going to find out, sometimes the path to getting what you think you need takes a really unexpected turn.
Indeed. And today we're diving deep into a real classic, Anne of Green Gables, our source material. It's coming straight from the novel itself, the original text, rich stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And our mission today is basically to unpack the main story, the synopsis of Anne's early years at Green Gables. We want to look at the key moments, those important relationships, and really the big transformations that make her journey so unforgettable.
Exactly. It's all about how this one unexpected arrival didn't just shake things up on a quiet farm in Avonlea. It totally reimagined everything for everyone involved.
Totally. And this whole transformation, it starts small, right? Like a little ripple.
Yeah, a subtle ripple that quickly turns into this big shift in how things are done at Green Gables and really in Avonlea itself.
So the story kicks off with Mrs. Rachel Lynde. She's like the eyes and ears of Avonlea, right? Knows everything about everyone.
Oh, definitely. A pillar of the community, you could say. I'm proud of it.
And her whole afternoon gets thrown off because she sees Matthew Cuthbert, who's usually super predictable, like quiet, keeps to himself. She sees him all dressed up, taking the buggy out, which is weird.
Really unusual for him. Mrs. Lynde is, as the book says, clean puzzled. She notes he doesn't generally go to town this time of year, and he never visits.
So naturally, her mission becomes figuring out what has taken Matthew Cuthbert out of Avonlea today. Classic Mrs. Lynde.
And what's really clever here is how the book immediately sets the scene. It shows us the world Anne's about to crash into. Green Gables itself, it's described as isolated, barely visible from the main road.
Right. And Mrs. Rachel even calls it, kind of dismissively, just staying. Like it's static.
Exactly. It creates this powerful image of a quiet, maybe even rigid environment. A perfect contrast for the whirlwind that's Anne.
And oh boy, is she a whirlwind. So Matthew makes his way to Bright River Station. It's about 8 miles, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And he's fully expecting to pick up this smart, likely boy of about 10 or 11, someone practical for the farm work. He finds a child. That's how the book puts it. A child with long braids of red hair and the eager, luminous eyes. It's Anne.
It is. And from that very first moment, that contrast is just overwhelming for poor Matthew.
Yeah, how does that hit him? This quiet man meets this explosion of personality.
Well, it's a total sensory overload for him. He's a man of few words, right? And Anne is just immediate chatter. She tells him all her worldly goods are in her little carpet bag. She's thrilled by PEI's beauty, even though the red roads are funny.
Yeah.
She talks about loving driving, dreaming of living near a brook, asking things like, what is an alabaster brow?
No, just bang, bang, bang.
Right. Matthew feels a little dizzy. The book compares it to being on a merry-go-round. It's this massive challenge to his quiet life, forcing him to deal with raw emotion and imagination, maybe for the first time ever.
And yet, despite being totally thrown, Matthew makes this quiet but really significant decision, doesn't he?
He does. He gets this uncomfortable feeling that he was going to assist at murdering something if he sent her back. He compares it to killing a lamb or a calf. It's incredibly compassionate.
So it stops being about practicality right there. It's suddenly about, well, connection, human feeling.
Exactly. And that quiet decision, born from this instant, unspoken bond, runs smack into Marilla's practical nature.
Oh, yeah. Cue Marilla's famous line. Matthew Cuthbert, who's that? Where's the boy? Just pure shock and, let's be honest, disappointment.
Total pragmatic disappointment, and Anne gets it immediately.
She just collapses, right, into the depths of despair. Heartbreaking.
It really is, she cries, saying, nobody ever did want me. You feel the weight of her past as an orphan in that line.
And it's right then, in that sadness, she makes those memorable requests.
Wants to be called Cordelia, such a perfectly elegant name.
And insists on Anne spelled with an E. Why the E?
Because, she says, it looks so much nicer.
Love that. Marilla, of course, is having none of it. Calls Anne a real good, plain, sensible name.
Typical Marilla. But those requests, they tell you so much about Anne, don't they?
Yeah, what do you think they reveal?
Well, they're not just quirks, insisting on the E, wanting this elegant name. It's her trying to carve out an identity, to claim some value in a world that's mostly dismissed her. It's like her first step in asserting her imaginative self against the plain, sensible reality she's facing.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Marilla, she does start to soften eventually.
Slowly, partly because she really dislikes the alternative, Mrs. Blewett, who apparently looks exactly like a gimlet.
A gimlet. Ouch.
But really, it's Matthew's quiet persistence. His silence is 10 times more potent than shouting would be. He wants to keep her.
He really does.
And Marilla kind of resigns herself to it, muttering something about Matthew always having a soft spot.
So Anne gets to stay.
Yeah.
Just barely. And the Cuthberts, who just wanted a farmhand, find their lives completely flipped.
Yeah, this whirlwind of imagination hits their quiet, orderly world.
So how does Anne's imagination right from the start challenge Green Gables and set things up for this journey of, mutual change?
Well, her imagination isn't just a cute trait. It's fundamental to who she is. It's how she copes, how she sees everything. Even after that awful moment of despair, she bounces back incredibly fast.
The very next morning, she's already finding joy.
Exactly. Isn't it a splendid thing that there are mornings, she asks, and she immediately starts naming things.
Oh, yeah, the naming. The geranium becomes Bonnie.
The cherry tree outside her window gets a name, and later she christens places like Violet Vale and Lover's Lane.
Why does she do that?
She explains, I like things to have handles. It makes them seem more like people. It's about connection, making the world feel alive and personal.
And this imaginative approach,
Yeah.
it extends even to things like prayer, which Marilla tries to teach her the traditional way.
Right. Marilla tries to teach her proper prayers, the catechism, and can recite it. God is a spirit, infinite, eternal, and unchangeable. But she admits she prefers to imagine out a real nice prayer. She finds some of the words splendid, grand, just like a big organ playing.
So even spirituality has to be filtered through her imagination to feel real to her. That must have clashed with Marilla's more structured view.
Oh, definitely. It shows Anne can't just repeat things without feeling. Everything needs that imaginative spark. And this clash between Anne's world and Avonlea's practicality leads to friction.
Yeah.
Especially with Mrs. Rachel Lynde.
Well, yes, round 2 with Mrs. Lynde.
Mrs. Lynde visits Green Gables and is incredibly blunt about Anne's appearance. Calls her terrible, skinny, and homely.
And says something like, they didn't pick you for your looks, didn't she?
She did, and Anne just explodes. That famous temper flares up.
But what's interesting is Matthew's reaction, right?
Yeah.
He actually defends her later.
Quietly, yes. He calls Mrs. Lynde a meddlesome old gossip. It's huge for Matthew.
And even Marilla, who makes Anne apologize, admits Mrs. Rachel was too hard on her.
Yeah. Anne's apology itself is a performance piece, full of dramatic flair, and she finds so much scope for imagination in a wind, even during her punishment.
That whole incident feels pretty important. It's like the first big test, and Matthew stands up for her. Their bond gets stronger.
Absolutely. It shows how Anne's spirit starts to challenge and eventually soften the rules around her. And this need for expression, it shows up in other ways, too, like her clothes.
Oh, the puffed sleeves, yeah.
She desperately wants puffed sleeves like the other girls. She says she'd rather look ridiculous when everybody else does than plain and sensible all by myself.
Which Matthew secretly agrees with, right? He gets her the dress.
He does, for Christmas. A dress with beautiful puff. It's such a touching moment.
Even at Sunday school, she's trying to imagine her plain sleeves are puffed.
Mm-hmm. And this deep yearning for connection, for beauty, it leads straight to her most important friendship.
Diana Barry, her bosom friend.
Yes. It starts so earnestly with Anne asking, will you swear to be my friend forever and ever?
And Diana's completely shocked. It's dreadfully wicked to swear.
Yes. But it's amazing how quickly Anne forms that bond. After everything she's been through, she still has this incredible capacity for connection.
It really speaks to her need to belong, doesn't it?
Profoundly, and Diana is swept up in it. Their walks to school through Lover's Lane and Violet Vale become these magical journeys.
Yeah, much better than the boring main road.
Exactly. You see how Anne's imagination genuinely enriches the lives of those around her, like Diana.
So as Anne starts settling in more, navigating school and friendships, her imagination keeps driving things. It leads to adventures, but also, well, mishaps.
Oh, plenty of mishaps, especially in the kitchen under Marilla's strict rules.
Right, she complains there's so little scope for imagination in cookery.
Which inevitably leads to things like
The raspberry cordial incident.
oh God, where poor Diana accidentally drinks several glasses of Marilla's currant wine thinking it's cordial.
And gets completely tipsy. Anne's retelling of it is pure drama.
And then there's the pudding sauce.
With the mouths, oh, the horror, shrieking at the dinner table in front of the minister's wife.
Yeah.
Mortifying for Marilla.
Absolutely mortifying. But these moments, they're important, aren't they? They're Anne learning that imagination has limits, that real life has rules and consequences.
Yeah, and you see Marilla kind of torn between exasperation and maybe growing affection.
Exactly. And then there's school and the rivalries, which brings us to Gilbert Blythe.
Ah, Gilbert. The carrots incident.
He teases her about her red hair, calling her carrots, and Anne's reaction is immediate and violent.
Smashes her slate right over his head.
Boom. And she vows, I shall never forgive Gilbert Blythe. And she means it, for a long time.
It gets worse when the teacher, Mr. Phillips, spells her name without an E. That adds iron in the soul.
It really does. For Anne, these aren't small things. They're attacks on her identity, her pride.
And she refuses to go back to school for a while because of it.
Yep. Matthew supports her, surprisingly. Even Mrs. Lynde thinks maybe she should stay home, noting how popular she is otherwise.
But then Anne gets a chance to really prove her worth in a crisis.
The Minnie May Croup episode. Diana's little sister gets terribly sick.
And Anne, drawing on experience from caring for Mrs. Hammond's twins, knows exactly what to do. She saves Minnie May's life.
It's a massive turning point. Avonlea sees she's not just a flighty dreamer. She has real skills, real value. It earns her huge respect, especially from the Barrys.
Absolutely solidifies her place. But her journey isn't all heroism. There are still stumbles, especially around her appearance.
The hair dye incident.
Yeah.
Wanting raven black hair.
And ending up with bright green hair. Disaster.
Total disaster. Marilla has no choice but to cut it all off, shingle it close to her head.
Anne is heartbroken, turns her mirror to the wall.
But then she accepts it, almost like penance. She resolves to focus on being good instead of beautiful. A classic growing up moment, right?
Oh, definitely. A collision between idealism and reality.
Yeah.
Can't just imagine away green hair.
Nope. And her flair for the dramatic continues.
The Elaine reenactment. Floating down the pond in the sinking flat.
Pretending to be Tennyson's Elaine, the Lily Maid. Only the boat starts leaking and she ends up clinging to a bridge pile.
Rescued by
Gilbert Blythe, of all people.
the irony. And Anne finds the rescue situation very unromantic.
Even in peril, she's critiquing the aesthetics. Later, she shines at a concert with her recitations. Matthew is bursting with pride.
And Gilbert picks up the rose she drops.
Indeed. And we can't forget jumping into bed with Diana's great-aunt Josephine by mistake.
Oh my goodness, yes. Another mortifying moment that somehow turns out okay.
Because Miss Barry is amused by Anne's spirit, her imagination. She gets it.
So looking back at this period, all these scrapes and triumphs, what's Anne really learning?
She's learning resilience, for sure. The power of her imagination keeps her going. But she's also learning, sometimes the hard way, about social rules, consequences, how to interact, and maybe most importantly, self-acceptance. Even the difficult interactions with Mrs. Lynde, with Gilbert, they start to shift from antagonism to a kind of grudging respect, even affection.
Right. And as she gets older, her focus shifts, too, towards more serious goals.
Yes, the Queen's class is formed. This is serious study for the entrance exams to Teachers College.
And that rivalry with Gilbert, it changes, doesn't it? Becomes more academic.
It does. They're both aiming for the top. Anne initially wants her teacher's license, but then her ambitions grow.
The Avery Scholarship,
Yeah.
Redmond College, a BA degree.
Exactly. She loves having ambitions, loves that there never seems to be any end to them. It's her shaping her own future now, dreaming bigger than anyone, maybe even herself, thought possible.
It's a huge step. And life at Queen's Academy in Charlottetown,
Yeah.
it's different.
Yeah, she's homesick at first for Green Gables, her little room. But she makes new friends, Stella and Priscilla. And her view of Gilbert really starts to change. She sees his intelligence, his kindness, even thinks it might be nice to be friends.
A big shift from the Slate incident.
Huge. Then comes the waiting, the exam results.
Nerve-wracking. She's worried about geometry.
Always geometry, but then Diana comes running with the news.
The best news. You passed the very first. You and Gilbert both. Your ties, but your name is first.
Anne wins the Avery Scholarship. Gilbert wins the gold medal. It's this incredible moment of achievement.
You can just imagine the relief and joy. And Matthew's pride.
Oh, it's immense, he whispers to Marilla. Reckon you're glad we kept her, Marilla.
And Marilla, trying to be reserved, says, it's not the first time I've been glad, but you know she's thrilled. It's this quiet validation of everything Anne is.
Yeah, it really is. But life takes another sharp turn, doesn't it? Right after this peak.
Yeah. Tragedy strikes.
Hmm.
First, Marilla's eyesight starts seriously failing. She can barely read or sew.
Which is huge for Marilla. Those are central parts of her life.
And then the devastating news. The
Fake.
bank where they have their savings fails.
And the shock. It's too much for Matthew. He dies instantly, painlessly, from the heart attack brought on by the news.
Just gone. It's so abrupt, so heartbreaking. The end of such a core relationship for Anne.
Her grief is immense. She plants that white Scotch rose on his grave, something he loved.
And the practical reality hits hard. With the money gone and Marilla's eyesight failing, Marilla plans to sell Green Gables.
This is the ultimate test for Anne, isn't it? All her dreams, the scholarship, college, laid out before her.
And she makes this incredible choice. She tells Marilla, "You mustn't sell Green Gables."
She gives up the Avery, decides to stay home, care for Marilla, and teach locally, maybe in Avonlea if she can get the school.
"Nobody could love it as you and I do, so we must keep it," she says.
Wow. Marilla is deeply moved, calls her a blessed girl. It's a complete transformation, isn't it?
Absolutely. From the lonely orphan desperately seeking a home.
To becoming the one who holds that home together. She's moved from needing care to providing it.
It shows this profound maturity. Strength isn't about escaping your problems, maybe, but finding purpose right where you are.
Choosing connection, choosing love and responsibility over personal ambition at that moment. It's incredibly powerful.
So we've traced Anne's story, haven't we? From that surprising arrival, the little red-headed girl who turned Green Gables upside down.
Through all the adventures, the scrapes, driven by that amazing imagination.
Watched her forge lifelong friendships, navigate rivalries, celebrate those academic wins.
And felt the heartbreak, leading to that really difficult but ultimately brave decision that sets her future path.
Anne often talked about finding a bend in the road, didn't she?
And hoping that flowers of quiet happiness would bloom along it.
Her story really reminds you that life's path, it doesn't always go where you plan. It narrows sometimes.
But even then, it can still be filled with meaningful things. Sincere work and worthy aspiration and congenial friendship, as the book says.
Maybe the real measure of a good life isn't about avoiding the tough stuff, but about finding beauty and purpose even when things take an unexpected turn.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What bend in your own road are you navigating right now? And what quiet happiness might actually be waiting there if you look for it?
A really lovely thought to end on. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the start of Anne's story, we definitely encourage you to pick up the book or maybe revisit it. It's truly a classic for a reason. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey today.